borrachito. Ay. ¿Eso qué fue lo que me dio, compadre? ¿Seco o vinagre? Eso sí que me gusta, compadre. Este puro seco, panameño. A Colombia el tamborito llegó, a Puerto Rico luego pasó y en Nueva York estrago causó y en Panamá fue donde nació. Bailando está el tamborito del swing, bailando está el tamborito del swing, bailando está el tamborito del swing, bailando está el tamborito del swing. ¡Ey, ey, hombre!
Nancy, I think you have a future in the coffee industry.
I have a future in the sunshine.
James, did you get that? I think she needs to make an annual trip out here.
Compadre, estoy borrachito. Tienes el 1 y menos el 2. El 3 llegó y atrás se quedó y el 4 gritó y a todo asustó. Bailen todo este rico son. Bailando está el tamborito del swing.
It only takes one bean to start the journey for many more to follow. That journey begins in the ground, where the seed is planted and the coffee plant begins to grow. The beginning of life, like for many of us, begins in the nursery, where the tiny plants are nurtured until mature enough to spread their roots in the ground. This is Coffea arabica. The shrub-like plant has attractive shiny green leaves and enjoys a relatively high altitude for growing. Most of the plantations I visited in Costa Rica and Panama are between 1,000 and 2,000 meters above sea level. The higher the altitude, the cooler it may be and the coffee may grow more slowly. Often one side of a hill will have a completely different microclimate to the other, and the coffees from different regions will each taste wildly different due to growing conditions. Spurred on by rainfall, the coffee plant comes into bloom boasting many fragrant jasmine-like flowers along its branches. These eventually turn into fruits, the coffee cherries.
It costs so much to produce coffee because, see, we get the seeds, you get the seeds, and 1 year later you plant that tree, and here it takes, the higher you go in this farm, it takes longer. Here it takes 4.5 more years after you plant it to start harvesting the first bean. We have some geisha up there, which we're not going. Too bad we're not going, but we have some geishas back there that are starting to yield some beans. They were planted 4.5 years ago, a few beans. Yes. 5.5 years, a little bit more. 6.5 years later after plant, and then you start getting like a crop. Yeah. So, from seed to harvest, 7.5 years in this area.
To get the best tasting coffee, the cherries must be harvested carefully, only picking off the ripe crimson red fruits.
Once it's formed like this, see?
Yeah.
This little bean,
yeah.
It will probably take like 2 more months. Yeah, this is, watch, maybe 2.5 months. Because we harvest until late April here.
Okay.
Up in the higher elevation until.
The unripe green cherries should be left on the tree to ripen. Each plant will need to be harvested up to 7 times in one season to get the best crimson red fruits and the best tasting coffee.
A Puerto Rico luego pasó y en Nueva York estrago causó y en Panamá fue donde nació. Bailando está el tamborito del swing, bailando está el tamborito del swing, bailando está el tamborito del swing, bailando está el tamborito del swing. ¡Ey, ey, hombre! La morena sale esa faldita, te voy a ver lo que tú no quieras que te vea. compadre, estoy borrachito. Tienes el 1 y menos es el 2. El 3 llegó y atrás se quedó y el 4 quitó ya todo.
Once harvested, the coffee cherries are taken to a mill or processing plant. These are often regional beneficios or estate-owned mills. The producers deposit their harvested cherries, which are measured by volume.
¡Ey! ¡Ey! ¡Ey, guajiro! ¡Ay! Mira que voy este domingo a la pelea de los gallos.
The first stage of processing is for the outer fruit of the cherry to be removed or depulped. Then the beans are washed to remove the sticky mucilage or honey that surrounds them. What is left is called parchment coffee. The bean is left protected inside its golden outer casing called the parchment. The next stage for this coffee is the drying process. The parchment coffee can be dried either in the sunshine on large sun patios or African beds, or alternatively it can be dried in large mechanical dryers like these. Once dried, the parchment coffee beans are left to settle in large storage silos, often for months, to allow the beans to rest and to help the flavours settle. Alternatively, coffee can be dried within the whole fruit itself. Naturally, processing coffee in this way allows sugars from the fruit to pass onto the bean, contributing a very different flavour to the coffee than if it were washed.
Así que me gusta, compadre, este puro seco, panameño.
Once processed, the coffee beans must have their outer casing, their parchment, removed, and then each bean is graded and sorted for size and density.
A Puerto Rico luego pasó y en Nueva York estrago causó y en Panamá fue donde nació. Bailando está el tamborito del swing. Bailando está el tamborito.
And each bean is also checked for any defects that could spoil the batch. Finally, the coffee is bagged up, ready for export.
¡Ey! 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 ¡Hombre! Mira, morena, esa faldita, te voy a ver lo que tú no quieras que te vea. Compadre, estoy borrachito. Tienes el 1 y menos es el 2. El 3 llegó y atrás se quedó y el 4 quitó y a todo asustó. Bailen todo este rico son. Bailando está el tamborito del swing. 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 ¡Ey! ¡Ey! ¡Ey, guajiro! ¡Ay! Mira que voy este domingo a la pelea de los gallos.